I first want to thank the organizing group of this symposium for inviting me here today. I've been working sort of with a focus on youth and dementia with a community collaborative for about 6 years now. So I was really excited to find out that Christine was applying for a grant and putting this together. So thank you very much for including me in this particular session. Okay, so I am a researcher. So I just want to get one thing clear and sort of do my due diligence as per the theme of this particular panel in traditional academic mobilization, knowledge mobilization in youth. How relevant is it? Traditional, and I'm going to use June's term about I'm going to, disrupt things a little bit and maybe be not as polite, and I think it's not relevant. So I just want to put that out there. But just to be clear, I think it really does depend on who's doing the research and how the research is being done. And so I come from a perspective of doing more community-based research and working directly with people who are affected by a particular condition. In this case, I work with people living with dementia directly. And Chris, thanks for the shout out of Mayor Up. So the organization I work for is the Murray Alzheimer Research and Education Program. And it's an organization that really conducts community-based research. And what we focus on is that knowledge translation and knowledge mobilization. And the way we do that, essentially, is by including the people that we are including people living with dementia in our program. And so I want to really take that approach, and I'm going to use a particular project that we're working on to give you an example of the way the research that we conduct is being done, and I think how it can be more relevant to young people who are interested in being involved in the dementia area. The other thing I want to say is that we do really focus on personal stories. And so what I'm speaking about today is the personal stories of young carers. A lot of them in the room. We are hearing so many stories about people who have had, that have a parent, have had experience being a care partner for somebody living with dementia. I want to focus on their health and how we can better support young carers. So that's what this project is. It's called the Young Carer Project. And this definition of a young carer, because there's really not one definition of a young carer, is something that was developed by a team of young care advisors that we worked with for about 18 months. And so to them, a young carer is a child, youth, or young adult who experiences an alteration in their family role, different from the normal cultural and age expectations as a result of another family member's exceptional needs or unique family situation. We left it very broad. Because it really is about, it's not only what we found in our research, because we actually did research around this. We found that people who are young carers, regardless of that situation, whether they're caring for somebody with dementia, whether it is a sibling with a chronic illness, they often will have similar experiences. And this is where our research has led to the creation of a number of resources, and they were developed in partnership with young carers. And we do this so that we can create something that is relevant, meaningful, and useful to young carers. I'm not going to go too much into the history of the project. It's been around for a long time in the Waterloo region. We started with a group, and this group is actually led by a young carer herself. So our chair is a young carer. And so the purpose and the goals are all really from the perspective of somebody who is living that experience. So what I want to share with you really are the 3 resources that we produced out of this non-traditional academic sort of research. we use participatory action research so that what we're doing is actually having an impact on the group that we are trying to serve. So we created 3 resources. The first one is a documentary film, and I'm just going to show you a short clip of the film, and then I'll talk about the rest of them.
Are children, youth, and young adults that are living in homes with a family member who has an illness, a disability, a special need of some kind. Sometimes it's a mental health issue or an addiction, maybe a cultural language barrier that they help their family navigate.
My mom and dad immigrated to Canada in the early 80s, and they struggled to integrate or immerse themselves fully in Canadian culture. So from a very young age, a lot of responsibilities around the house fell on me, answering important phone calls, paying bills, or helping to pay bills rather, helping my parents get their high school education.
There's me and my little sister who are, I guess, normal for lack of a better word. And then my brother has a bunch of different stuff going on with him. It's not like a violence as in he really has control over it necessarily. It's more like there's brain chemistry that doesn't work out the way it should.
Parents don't really catch you doing stuff as much because they're always focused on the other person.
Being the oldest, I think there was sometimes more pressure on me to kind of like, in a sense, run the household, I guess, because my parents were so preoccupied with my brother and whatnot.
I resented the responsibilities and the commitment of being a young carer. I didn't like it being thrust on me.
You sacrifice a lot, you know. There's times you go to school in the morning and you have not slept because he was up all night screaming about whatever. There's just like a lot of like loneliness, I guess, in that. It's like your problems matter, but there's just no time for them to matter.
Sometimes my mom treats me like I'm a little bit younger than I actually am because she's used to dealing with my brother and always have to be careful because she never knows when he's about to explode. When he is upset, I kind of get mad, and I don't really like him because I don't know what I did, but he's just getting mad at me. So I just kind of like get mad, and I go upstairs, and then he gets even more mad at me. I love him. He's my brother. I mean, like, he is a good brother when he isn't mad.
So that's just a short clip of the documentary that we created. And again, the documentary was created in partnership with young carers in our project. Sorry, I'm just going to get this back up. Okay. So this is Fitzum. He's one of our young carers that's been working with the Young Care Project for a long time. He's an advisor on our group. He's part of our collaborative. And again, he's done an amazing job with advocating as a young carer and ensuring that other people are aware that young carers do exist. Because right now we know that it's pretty much an invisible population. Young carers, when you think about, in the dementia context, when you think about a care of somebody living with dementia, you think about an older adult, a spouse, or an adult child or daughter. Oftentimes there's no recognition or even somebody asking somebody in the home if there's an individual who's under the age of 25. They also need supports, and this is what our project was trying to do, is really to increase the knowledge and understanding and awareness in our community about the needs and experiences of young carers. Fitzum actually won the highest volunteer award in Ontario for the work that he's done with our project. That was this summer, so that was very exciting. So what we did with our research, our participatory action research, is create a guide, and there's free copies out in the front. This is a guide written by and for young carers. So MAREP so we call it a BUFU guide, by us, for us. We've been creating guides, these knowledge translation tools for over, probably since about 2006 was our first publication. This was our 13th publication. And why we see such great uptake, we're known internationally from this project, the Bias for Us Guides. And the reason that this is the case is because we include people, in this case young carers, but in other cases people living with dementia in the development of not only they decide on the topic, so we're not just asking them about what do you think about this project or program. They are actually helping us to come up with the ideas. What is important to you? Okay, we're going to go out and we're going to create something that's going to be relevant to your lives. So we're including them in the thought process, the brainstorming about what topics we're going to talk about. They actually help us facilitate the focus groups. And we go through the data together, and then we create these guides. So in this particular case, this is the fourth unique series in our Bias for Us project, and is really exciting, again, because we are using the experiences and voices of young carers. I just wanted to give you a little bit of what we actually found. Sorry, I'm not even following my notes here at all. What we actually found was that young carers, as they, at a young age, if they are providing care responsibility to somebody in the home, they're going through those developmental years. So oftentimes, although that relationship building for somebody who's in that care responsibility and the person they're caring for can be enhanced, oftentimes there are some negative impacts on their lives. So these are the things that I think we really have to make known is as far as emotion, stress, self-care, these are all things that our young carers told us were essential as part of their experience. Also, the other thing, so it was really a them, what impact did it have on them, what the impact was on their relationships, so families, friends, and others. It really impacted their connection with peers at school, and how they it was the discussion was that they didn't even have the same thinking. You know, a friend would be worried about what they were going to wear to prom, and you know, the other young carer is thinking that, well, that's not even in my frame of reference. I'm going to go home and I'm going to care for my mother or my grandparent who's living with a dementia. So we need to start thinking around these things, and I had a conversation with somebody over lunch about you know, the types of things that we really need to think about are how we can support young care. So for example, we have a section that we wrote about in our guide about how schools in particular, that's where you'll find young carers spending the most time. So really when we're thinking about that, we're thinking about how can we provide supports within schools, not even just elementary or high school. Okay, I'm told to please stop. Upside down. Right, so sorry, I get off topic here. Anyway, all the information is in the guide. I just want you to know that I think what we're doing is very relevant, and I think other people can be following the same format of really being inclusive of people either living with dementia in creating programs, of people, young carers, and ensuring that you do have them as a frame of reference. We also created a website. This website hosts all the information from our guide and our documentary. And, you know, you can help by either becoming a part of the Young Carer movement, joining our Young Carer program, sign up for emails. The one other thing that a young carer, actually the sister of a young carer, the person who the young carer was caring for, is helping us on our Young Care project as well. And she came up with an idea that she wanted to profile young carers, because a lot of times they won't talk about their experience, or they don't know that they're young carers, and so don't even, this is a natural part of their lives, so they don't talk about it. So what she did was start on our website a fictitious characters or characters from a book or movie. So I'm not sure with this age group if you know the series Party of Five. So it was a group of 5 siblings. Their parents died in a plane crash, so the oldest brother was responsible for caring for the other 3 or 4 siblings. And so she's using these as examples to help build awareness around these ideas. And there's lots of books in the popular media, and in you'll find even in chapters that actually highlight the lives of some of young carers. So anyway, I'm going to stop now. Sorry for going over time. My contact information, we have a booth out there with all of our stuff, so thank you very much.